You want us to work with the Hasaikai?
Yeah, why do I have to keep repeating it?
Hey guys, welcome back. I said I was done. No, I didn't say I was done. But I said I was going to make another Triggered Senpai video, and here we are. This is part 3 of my ongoing series, so if you've started here, what are you doing? Just watch part 1 and 2. What are you talking about? But, in this part 3, it'll be a lot longer, and we're going to talk about a lot of Triggered Senpai's hypocrisies, a lot of his lies, his pompousness, his ego, his pride of everything he's done, and just go beyond his actual criticism just a little bit, but we're still going to talk about his criticisms and how flawed they are. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun video, so stay tuned.
Night, Tamaki, I'm still fighting.
Sasuke! I told you that's not my name anymore!
Huh, great. Guess who just came bursting in through the fucking walls? Mr. Plakavians himself, Deku, to ruin this epic-ass moment for Mirio.
Well, Mirio was struggling in the fight. I mean, he just lost his quirk because of a red bullet, and he couldn't get up, so of course Deku would come in aid of Mirio. I mean, do you think, Mirio kept fighting and stuff, but, obviously he didn't have it under control. And like I said in part 2, Mirio's a very simple hero, just keep fighting or whatever the hell. But Deku is more complex. He fights for his friends. He doesn't fight for himself, he fights for other people. But Mirio kind of just fights for himself, and that's what makes Mirio such a less interesting character than Deku. So Mirio has an epic moment. He already had an epic moment. He got sacrificed. So Deku just coming in is just indicative. It's just the battle going on. It's not just supposed to be Mirio versus him. I mean, Mirio already told Deku what to do, basically. So Deku doing this brash moment, obviously doing this, thing out of Mirio's line of sight. Of course, Deku would do that because he's brash. He does things his own way because he's just a rebel. He does that kind of stuff. So Mirio does what he's told, but Deku is more than that. In my opinion, he goes against conventions. He goes against laws, and he tries to be a better person, tries to make a better future using his own flaws and humility. So, yeah, Deku does... This take sucks.
It's been for nothing!
Overhaul should have killed every single person in this fucking room. It's no excuse why anyone should still be alive after all that shit he just did. But guess what? They're all going to survive from this. You know why? Because this is what happens when you add plot convenience, plot shielding, plot armor, plot bullshit, whatever the fuck, to any serious scenario where the main character might lose his life. And you know what's real funny about this? Is that they tried to make up for this bullshit by having Night Eye die, when everybody should have died in this fucking scene.
Okay, usually I don't pull out the good of stuff when I'm criticizing, a piece of video, a commentary video. But this is the one take, or a few takes, but this is one of the only big takes that I actually agree with. Everyone should have died in this battle. There was literally no way that Overhaul's launching spikes, multiple spikes into this room and not hurting anyone except for Night Eye is kind of insane. And I do agree with him that Deku does have some plot shielding to him because he is the main character. Like that meme going around where it's I'm the main character, so all y'all are NPCs or whatnot. But what I'm saying is that him being the main character shields him from any known danger because the plot, and it's just how convenient it all feels. I don't think My Hero Academia is a perfect show, and this is one of the reasons why. This is one of the reasons why I don't think so, because the plot shielding and the power balancing of things just really just go against the overall plot and story. And yeah, I think this is a pretty much a flawless take. I'm sorry. Good job, Triggered Senpai. You're good at one thing.
Sir?
Alright, so let me get this straight. The guy who can look into people's future and predict their moves just got pierced by Overhaul, but a kid that comes rushing into the battlefield without no thought whatsoever doesn't get pierced by Overhaul. Oh wait, that's right, he did get hit by Overhaul, except he didn't get pierced. Bruh, if that's not plot shielding, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Another W take, honestly, but there's one thing that I don't agree with, and that comes to Night Eye's character. I think that Night Eye is portrayed as this all-seeing guy who could see the future and see other people's future, when in reality, he can't. The thing that makes Night Eye a character is that he's a fraud who ended up working for All Might and distrusting him and thinks that he's his fan. He's given, like, sucking off All Might, when in reality he's kind of a con man. He doesn't really know what he's talking about half the time, and the reason why he died was to prove that his quirk was a flaw. It was false. All of it was false, and it was all made up. I think he does have a quirk where you could look at people's future, but also it was kind of used as a shield for him, for his ego and for his ego. So I think that while I agree that Night Eye shouldn't have been the only one that died here, I also don't agree with the notion that Night Eye shouldn't have died. I don't know if any of you what you're saying, but like Night Eye should have died here. Like, this is Night Eye's time to die. Whilst Deku, yeah, I don't know. That's all I gotta say.
Being able to put myself back together again doesn't make breaking apart hurt any less.
If the ground hadn't cracked into pieces, it would have skewered me with a massive spike.
Alright, bruh. Enough is enough. Deku's officially the worst character in My Hero Academia. There you go, alright? The amount of plot shielding this little fuck gets is astounding, alright? Not only does he get his favorite power from his favorite hero, not only does he get into UA high school, not only does he get all 8 previous one-for-all users' quirks, but he also can avoid death at any possible causes, alright? And now they're trying to tell us that the reason Deku didn't die in this scene was because the ground cracked into pieces. Well, if that was the case, why didn't you just show us that scene? Because me, personally, I think that scene was way more important than what the fuck y'all showed us with Mirio walking down the hallway covered in blood with Eri. Me, personally, I wanted to see how the ground cracked into pieces. Oh, wait, that's right. Maybe y'all couldn't show us because maybe y'all couldn't even comprehend what the bullshit y'all just did, alright? And it's real funny how all of a sudden Overhaul got limits when it comes to the main character losing his life. Very convenient, if I might fucking say.
Okay, number 1. Horikoshi has made it very clear that every single quirk in this story has a flaw, and has one flaw about them. Like Monama's quirk, that he could copy other people's quirk, but only for 5 minutes, or it's a weaker version of that same user's quirk. But with Overhaul, yes, he can manipulate basically any kind of matter, but he can only do that for a short period of time. He has a limit to everything. And number 2, the reason why the ground cracked into pieces was because he was using a power, and he was controlling the matter around the stone. And what it's doing is that the quirk that he's using just turns into dust the moment that he stops using the stone quirk, or him rearranging matter or whatnot. So the reason why it always happens to wherever he's controlling matter, it always cracks into pieces. This has been established before. And number 3, I do agree with Deku being the worst character in MHA. I think he has way too much plot conveniences. I feel like he is way too, what was I going to say? Okay, his 8 quirks, right, are very dumb. Him having 8 previous users' quirks is some of the worst writing of the entire show, in my opinion. I think that was kind of one of the worst parts of Deku's character and the character writing of MHA as a whole. So, yeah, I agree with him on the Deku part, but with Overhaul, yeah, it's still really flawed. I think that they explained that he has a weakness. Obviously, his weakness is that it portrays in the final battle where he tries to go all for it and then ends up getting punched by Deku, showing that, of course, anyone has a limit to their quirk. So is Deku. He keeps breaking his bones and whatnot. We all seen that. So everyone has a limit to their quirk. So, yeah, that's my stance.
Give her back!
I can't dodge well in midair.
But you just did, though.
Did you see how hard it was for Deku to maneuver around Overhaul's stone powers? The reason why he can't dodge in midair is that he's still trying to dodge in midair. He's just saying that he can't. I mean, it's not that he just can't do it. He's a 15-year-old kid. People say that they can't do it the moment that they pick up something, like how Triggered Senpai says that he's good at making content. Hey, yo, that was a good one. No, I'm joking. But it's done.
It's up to me to cure humanity!
Oh, great. Now he can teleport. It's funny because I never seen All Might do that before. It's crazy, man. It seems like our boy Deku is the only person in this universe who can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Well, you just said that he has 8 previous users' quirks. So this could be like the first one that he has or something. Probably. That's all I gotta say.
Then how can I call myself a hero who saves everybody?
Wait, so he came from being Goku to Saitama now? Oh my god, man. This show is so fucking trash. Did I forget to mention that this won for Best Fight of the Year at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards?
How is that Saitama? How is that Saitama? Because he spawned multiple punches? I mean, he didn't one punch him to death. He still came out alive, so how the fuck is he Saitama? And, number 2, I'd say that this fight definitely is lacking, but this is still an amazing fight, animation-wise and, like, fighting-wise. It's still an amazing fight, and it deserved the award. I don't really know what you're talking about, how this reason alone, why he's acting like Saitama, quote-unquote, that the entire show is fucking trash. That's not how you criticize a show, idiot.
That's who I'm gonna be!
And people wonder why I say Deku is OP as fuck. Keep in mind, he's only using All Might's quirk right now, alright? He hasn't even touched into the other 7 quirks he's gonna get later on in the story. But I guess y'all gonna learn about that in Season 5. And also, for those who wanted a perfect example of what it looks like when an author doesn't know what the fuck he wants to do with his story, look no further than here, alright? Horikoshi clearly doesn't know what the fuck he wants to do with his story, nor does he have any creativity whatsoever. Now, he does have moments of creativity, but it really doesn't show that much, alright? Shit rarely happens. Now, it seems like Horikoshi pretty much just took a whole bunch of Marvel movies and DC movies and put that shit into one story. With a little splash of Naruto elements here and there, he pretty much pulled a Black Clover.
I agree with this wholeheartedly, even though I disagree with the whole fight stuff. I don't agree with him saying that he doesn't know what he's doing with the characters. I think Horikoshi has a clear indication of where he's going with the story, because I've read the manga before. I know where he's going in the story, and obviously the anime and manga ended. But anyway, I do agree with him saying that the show itself is very derivative. And you could kind of see it like that he has little splashes of creativity, but I think this show sometimes can be really creative in showing, the pitfalls of hero society and how characters are well realized, how they talk and they speak. I think creativity is a really good indicator of this show, and it can be slightly derivative at times with All Might character and Deku just being this baseless amalgamation of every shonen protagonist ever, like Naruto, Goku, or Luffy. But I think that, judging from what the show could have been, it could have been a lot worse. It is a very entertaining show with a lot of creative elements, but it could be a little derivative and slow. It can have moments of cringy dialogue, but that's just what you get when you have an anime, a shonen anime like this one, where you're gonna have to sit through cringy lines. You're gonna have to sit through a level of derivativeness. You could see derivativeness in even One Piece, for example, with the whole like One Gear shit. Yeah, like you could have derivative moments of the show, but what makes it special? What makes it special is its writing, and I think that what Horikoshi is doing in My Hero Academia is like no other shonen anime out in the block. So, well, I do agree with him saying that it's a little derivative, but I'm saying that Deku is bad as a main character. I don't agree with him on many other parts.
Tell me again who the next leader is gonna be. You know what I think overall? Someone so obsessed with erasing quirks shouldn't have one of their own. Don't you agree? Just like that, you're helpless. A weak, quirkless loser. And all the fruits of your labors belong to me. Now you don't even have a thumb to suck on. You're doomed to watch from the sidelines as your dream falls apart. Let's do our best.
Now, for those who've seen some of My Hero Academia videos, you guys already know that I don't like Shigaraki as a character. But this is one of the only times when I'ma actually give him praise. This shit he doing the overhaul right now is fucking hilarious, alright? This is some black belt level of pettiness right here, and I fucks with it heavy.
Me personally, I think that the most entertaining My Hero Academia characters are their villains. Their creativity, their malice, their ways of why they are a villain are so much more interesting to me than the heroes. Even though we're supposed to be, following the heroes and rooting for the heroes, I think that the villains are so much richer and deeper in quality, while Shigaraki is not as deep as, you say, Dabi or Overhaul or no, not All For One, he's kind of basic, but other than that, and other than, besides Stain, Shigaraki is definitely on the deep personal level. I mean, you see the pain and torment that he's supposed to settle through. Of course he's petty and selfish, obviously. He's a villain, he just wants to destroy everything. And I do agree with Triggered how petty he is against Overhaul, and how so consumed by power and lust, power he is. Just power over everything. I think that Shigaraki is probably one of my top 5 favorite characters of the whole show. If we're talking strictly based off personality and writing ability, he is an amazing character. And I do agree with Triggered on this, that it is very petty what he's doing. And it's definitely a very campy and entertaining, but that's his whole character, and that's just his whole vibe.
Next, it's our turn.
Man, they did Overhaul dirty as hell, bro. He started off like a straight badass, and now they got him over there crying like a little bitch, when he should have never even lost in the first place. The only reason why he lost was because of the plot, bro. He should have killed everybody in that room when he was going psycho mode. Night Eye should not have been the only person that died. Deku and Mirio should have died as well. And it's real nasty how they treated Deku's character in this arc, because they had him doing all that bullshit just to be the villain he wasn't supposed to be, alright? And I know people gonna be like, hey, Eri helped him. Look, it's real fucking convenient that a little girl who didn't know how to use her powers all of a sudden learned how to use her powers, and it benefited the main character, alright? That's class A bullshit, alright? And that's also bad writing on Horikoshi's part, alright? That should not have happened. Overhaul should have been victorious in this whole arc.
Kind of just reiterating the same points I've made about him, Deku being convenient, and Overhaul should have been victorious in killing Deku and not just Night Eye. And I do agree with that. I do agree with that opinion, and I've already iterated this all the time, and I do agree with the eerie thing. I do think that it could, the only reason why she used her quirk was to benefit Deku and his abilities. And I actually agree with all of this except for the overhaul thing. Yeah, he does have access to his quirk anymore. He can't get out. Of course he's going to scream, and I know he's a badass, but at the same time, he had so much sadness in his heart, really. And he just let it all out in that one scream. I think that's one of the best, like, that right there is, like, one of the best shots of the entire My Hero Academia anime. And I think that was, like, one of those perfect cappers to end off a villain story ever. And I just think this whole scene is amazing, but I do agree with him why Overhaul should have killed everyone there. I do agree with that. Anyways, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will make a part 4. I will make a part 4, and I will make more videos, more drama videos outside of Triggered Senpai, so stay tuned to that. Anyways, I love you all, man. Bye.